Greetings. We are the Arcturian group. We observe that many of you are discouraged and tired of waiting for signs of change in new Earth energy. The changes you hope and wait for cannot happen quickly because Earth's ascension is a process. Because of thousands and more years in which Earth's dominant consciousness was that of separation and two powers, the collective continues to express outwardly as forms of violence, power over, disease, lack, and hundreds of other ways that represent separation from God and other life forms. Even as it gradually becomes more enlightened, separation beliefs remain ingrained in the collective and affect everyone born into Earth's third-dimensional energy. Even the very evolved who are on Earth to assist with Earth's ascension process are experiencing the effects of living in a world where the dominant energy is that of duality, separation, and two powers. The presence of increasingly more light is exposing many dense energies of separation, and as they surface, those in alignment with them often feel a sense of permission and empowerment to act on them. Thus the increase in violence in the world as a result of the high resonating energies now pouring to Earth, as well as it being carried in awakened states of consciousness. Shadow energies are dissolving, however, because Earth is a planet of time and space, and also because material bodies could not withstand intense situations of high resonating energy. Its ascension out of third-dimensional energies must be a process. Remember, you are in the midst of a divine plan, and divine plans cannot be swayed or stopped by human thinking, because the ideas of divine mind are held forever in place by divine law. If disease, lack, limitation, etc. actually existed in divine consciousness as realities, they could never be healed or changed, because divine law would be permanently sustaining and maintaining them. It is a time of suffering for many, and you, dear light workers, are helping to soften it through the light of your awareness. You need do nothing, because the light you hold in consciousness automatically lifts and awakens those ready and able to align with it. As humans, you have become accustomed to solving all issues through thinking and outer activities that are often necessary. However, you have evolved to levels in which your first step is to go within in the realization that consciousness is the real and only power, not human thought. The world sees appearances and judges them through filters of good and evil, old and young, male and female, lack and abundance, sickness and health, beliefs of duality that remain well established in the three-dimensional belief system. Spiritual masters over the centuries have tried to explain this as being illusion, but most thought this meant that everything on Earth was illusion, and therefore conditions of pain and suffering didn't really matter and could be ignored. What these masters were trying to tell them was that the Earth, her people, and all life forms are very real, spiritually real, but that the way they are being seen and beliefs about them constitute a state of hypnotism or illusion. As manifestations of creative divine consciousness, you also are creators. Just as source consciousness continues to express itself, individuals likewise express their consciousness, which is the one consciousness individualized, but conditioned with false beliefs. This is not a judgment. It is simply a fact. In reality, there are no victims, only those who as of yet do not know that they are creating their situations from the contents of their consciousness, because there is no unexpressed consciousness. God always has, is, and will continue forever to express itself as infinite form and variety. These forms are spiritual, but in lower resonating energy appear as material. Example: physical eyes are only able to see a tree materially as wood, useful for human consumption, but in reality the expression of a tree in divine mind is a beautiful form of high resonating light connected to every other tree and all of like resonance. Yes, you can talk to trees because all life is the one and only life. The essence of every form is a divine idea. Something cannot be made out of nothing. Observe the blades of grass. Do you see any lack? The harmony and intelligence of divine consciousness manifests as roses always coming from rose bushes and oranges always coming from orange trees. What causes a seed to open when it is placed in the right element? What element am I choosing to live in? Harmony, completeness, abundance, intelligence, love, etc. are realities because they are qualities of the only reality, an omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient consciousness infinitely expressing itself. Most as of yet do not comprehend this because they are still creating from states of consciousness enmeshed in duality, separation and the belief in two powers. Many are hurting financially at this time while others lack proper housing and food. Abundance is a quality of divine consciousness and therefore exists permanently as a divine law. Remember this with every appearance of lack or limitation. Example: realize that in reality no one is or can be separate from their perfect home, which is, always has been, and always will be divine consciousness. Everyone is an expression of God individualized, therefore lack and limitation can only be a manifestation of the separation beliefs that dominate collective and personal consciousness. You, the awakened ones, are on earth to acknowledge the higher truth about everything in the world and by doing so help create a new and higher collective consciousness. If you are personally facing some form of lack or limitation, step back and ponder the truth you know about abundance. Take truth, not the problem, into meditation in order to attain deeper awareness of your beliefs about abundance and realizing that you are God individualized and thus complete, self-sustained, and maintained. God knows nothing about lack and limitation. If lack was a part of divine consciousness, it would be a permanent reality. Individuals create situations of lack through their consciousness of lack and limitation. Money is energy and as such can and does flow when and where needed and often least expected. Supply is infinite spiritual completeness interpreted in three-dimensional energy as material and limited. In order to attain a consciousness of abundance, you must cease looking to persons, job, inheritance, husband, wife, or anything outside of self for it and start looking where it actually exists, within. Yes, your good will probably come through one or more of these outer sources, but is never from them because humans don't have abundance to give. Abundance is a divine quality. Acknowledging that you are infinitely abundant because you are one with Source does not mean you sit back doing nothing while shouting to others that God is all. Rather, it means that if or when experiences of lack and limitation arise, you first acknowledge the truth about abundance and then allow your intuition, not some well-meaning friend, family, expert, or the government, to guide your steps, which may appear to be ordinary and three-dimensional, until the truth becomes an attained state of consciousness. It cannot fully manifest outwardly. It is not spiritual failure to take advantage of available assistance if needed because help is offered at all levels of consciousness. Just remember that it is a stepping stone and not a permanent residence. Be alert to mental traps of "I don't have," "poor me," "I always fail," "nothing ever works for me," "it won't work," etc., etc., which only serve to hold you in that energy. Remember, consciousness is the substance of form. Up to a certain point in your spiritual journey, the human mind conditioned with three-dimensional beliefs will consistently step up with warnings about why that which you may be guided to do will or can only fail. The human mind tries to protect and help but draws its information from the collective and past experiences. The time comes in everyone's evolution when on occasion they must tell their human thinking mind to go sit in the corner while they do what they need to do. Experiences of lack and limitation are frightening. Do not resist them but rather allow them to flow through and out in the realization that they have only whatever power you give them. Seriously consider opportunities that may present to you even if they aren't what you were imagining, hoping for. Situations that seem to just appear in your experience are often doorways leading to something new and better. Always trust your intuition. Continuing to hold to outgrown three-dimensional concepts about anything simply because they are familiar or align with the beliefs of family and friends simply serves to hold you in that energy. Make your first action at all times and in every situation that of acknowledging the spiritual reality underlying every appearance. We are the Arcturian group.